Happy Mother's Day, and good evening, everyone. I hope you had a beautiful weekend. I hope your weekend's not over tonight. Maybe tonight's your Saturday night, like it is mine. It was a beautiful day here in Henderson, Kentucky. And for those of you joining us after the live stream, you could fast forward 4 minutes till we get to the meat and potatoes of the video. Then I'm going to be sharing something with you that is going to twist your brain, and you're welcome to stick around for that. But you're 4 minutes away from the thumbnail of this video. If you're joining us after the live stream, the main topic subject will begin in a moment. And after that, we're just going to talk about other stuff. Until we start, here is a special message. Hello, Patriots. I'm going to ask you to take a moment and think about how much support you're giving to different artists and athletes that have gone out of their way to denounce DEI. We have done a fantastic job of boycotting those who embrace DEI as far as corporations and entertainers. We still kind of drop the ball when it comes to NFL and their relationship with China, NBA's relationship with China, and the baseball league as far as their association with DEI and China, not to mention hockey. But there is one sport left that denounces. They denounce it throughout their sporting event. They denounce it in their prayer. And by the way, their opening prayer is worth tuning in for anyway. And when's the last time you heard a prayer given at the beginning of a NASCAR race? That hasn't happened since the early 2000s. But professional bull riding is the most carnal sport there is. It's the most American sport there is. And I'm going to tell you real quick about it and ask you to tune in. As a matter of fact, next weekend is the championship. It's simple. The rider has to stay on for 8 seconds. You'll notice he has a free hand. His free hand cannot touch the bull. The bull gets a score up to 50 points, and the rider gets a score up to 50 points. The rider gets to pick his bull. He wants a bull that usually scores high. The higher the bull scores, the harder it is to ride. A high score on a bull means that it changed directions often, or its feet went very high in the air. Guys in black are the bull fighters. They try to get the attention of the bull so the rider can get away. They literally, every time go to work, put their life on the line for the rider. For this event, the U.S. Border Patrol was the sponsor, and they gave complimentary tickets to any U.S. Border Patrol people who wanted to come and see the event over a 4-day period. These Patriots need your support. I'm talking about comedian Rob Schneider from SNL. David Spade and Theo Vaughn just dumped their entire savings into a movie called Bus Boys that's about to come out, and no one in Hollywood is supporting it. None of the DEI company will distribute the film because those guys are blackballed. This is about preserving our culture and cutting out the parts of a culture that we don't like by not putting our dollars towards it. For instance, when we boycotted Bud Light beer, or Target, or whatever the case may be, that is how we shape our culture of the future. So supporting sports like bull riding, give it a try. I'll have a link below. See if it's something you can watch. It'd be great to take the kids to. It'd be great to teach the kids how to stay away from the back of a bull. And I guarantee you there's a farm league bull riding event within a few miles of you once a month. And it's a fast, fun sport. Very easy to understand. We all need to be activists in some way to preserve our culture in America. That's what we're fighting for. The left has infiltrated every movie company and every sport except for this one. I mean, even NASCAR is DEI. Please put your time and attention behind the Patriots. Links will be below in the description after this live stream.
America is back, and so is the most American celebration, and it's all happening in May at the home of America's team, AT&T Stadium. It's Rodeo Reimagined at Kid Rock's Rockin' Rodeo, and then the PBR Unleash the Beast World Finals Championship. Come welcome back America, and do it in Texas. Get your tickets now.
This is America, and this is the PBR.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. 5 by 5. 5 by 5. Good evening, everybody. I hope you had a great Mother's Day. And we're going to jump right in. I'm going to give it to you right up front. Hello, Susan. Bull riding is so much fun. I agree. And I am a city slicker girly girl from Texas. Awesome. So you're going to be near the championships. I think they're, did he say in Dallas? Because this weekend was in Fort Worth. And the cool thing about bull riding is that everybody who makes it to the cream of the crop at the end of the year is always somebody from Brazil or somebody from the United States, and usually from the southern states. Very few. Once in a while you get a Wisconsin or Ohio guy. Iowa guys are kind of sissies, so not so much. I'm just kidding. I know there's Iowa guys in the chat who have my phone number, so I could say that. And so watching this weekend's event, it was from Thursday till Sunday. They're all available on PBR Pro Bull Riding channel on YouTube. They just ended a live stream of the last, and it was really amazing. That I'm not going to go into the rules, but let's jump right in for everyone wants to know. Okay, this is what's going to happen. If one event takes place, everybody gets arrested. What is that event? It is the denouncing the auto pen, reversing the auto pen. A lot of the auto pen, not just people who were pardoned, but a lot of auto pen stuff getting reversed, turned around, denied, whatever the case may be. But once they get past the auto pen and get it legally categorized as not legal, that none of those can stand in court, none of those pardons, because they were auto-penned, and the auto-pen has a timestamp. So they know exactly, that's how they're able to track where Joe was. So they can say, okay, Joe was at the inauguration when this was auto-penned. We know that to be the truth. So Joe did not auto-pen this. And there's no evidence of him wanting these people to be protected. He said the whole time that that's ridiculous. Remember, he was saying that about Trump. Trump is going to pardon all his family, blah, blah, blah. So once we get past the auto pen, they're not doing that for no reason, okay? And I know in a lot of our heads, including my own, we only see reversing the auto pen as the end goal, and getting through that and having it stick. But that's just opening up the door. So there's 100% chance that dozens and dozens of people will be arrested. Now, there's going to be two types of arrests if we get past the auto pen problem, which we should. In a real world, in 1980, it's a no-brainer, okay? But the right has a problem with always looking at the George Soros's right hand when their left hand is doing all the tricky stuff. For instance, during the 2020 election, where all the problems broke out in Detroit at the TCF Center, everybody was worried about the van loads of boxes coming in the back door at midnight, which would obviously make the election in Detroit void. We had all the evidence in the world that all the election observers that were wearing a Republican tag were removed. There's no question about that. We have it on video. Okay, we have video of them taping up the windows. not allowing observation of the counting of an election nullifies and voids the election. But we want to sit here and look at a bunch of freaking boxes that we can't track. We don't know what happened to them. They're lost in the pile. Everybody wants to look for a needle in a haystack when a fucking elephant just shit right in front of us all the evidence we need. Okay? So if we could stop looking at the deep state's left hand, or at least start watching both hands, then we can get through some of this shit. But we took the long road. Instead of ever mentioning all those observers that were removed by police, that nullifies an election. It don't matter what happened in the back door. We stopped it dead in its tracks. Whether, okay, so that happened too. But if we get them on the ballots that are mixed in with hundreds of thousands of other ballots, when we go through all that trouble, the outcome is exactly the same outcome if you just point out that all the observers were removed from the room during the counting of the 2020 election at the TCF Center. Boom. Done. Done. Every single observer will testify in court, sign an affidavit, but you guys want to go looking for a needle in a haystack. Have fun. So, to repeat for those of you joining us, if we get past the auto pen, Fauci will be arrested. The auto pen should be figured out by the end of May. Before Christmas, everybody will be arrested if we get past the auto pen. Remember, the only reason why we're reversing the auto pen is because Joe wasn't there. It's not legal. And once we get past it, we're not doing it to scare Fauci. We're doing it to arrest Fauci. AIDS never killed anybody. The drug they gave you for AIDS, AZT, killed everybody. Okay? Everybody didn't lose 200 pounds because they got AIDS. Everybody lost 200 pounds because they were on AZT. Okay, so there's going to be two types of arrests. There are going to be military arrests and U.S. court federal arrests, okay? Military arrests would be like for, Fauci, Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff, Cohen's worked with outside American foreign agents to create the dossier, okay? So that is treason. And that is equal to blowing up a U.S. building in protest for Hamas or something like that. Okay, that's an act of war, so that's a military problem. Trying to change the outcome of an election using a foreign source to create evidence that doesn't exist, that's treason, that's an act of war. Adam Schiff gets to talk to the military courts. Maxine Water, depending on who gave to Act Blue, but let's say that no foreigners gave to Act Blue in that case, or she's getting money for her campaigns in some illegal way, that would be a U.S. court federal issue. So she wouldn't see a military judge. So which ones are they going to get first? Well, because federal lawyers are not going to, unless they're specialized in it, they're not working. As a matter of fact, you're 99% chance if you go to a federal judge, you got your lawyer is in one of the services, Navy or Air Force probably. So the civilian, the federal judges, those would be or lawyers would be the ones that are working on cases for Maxine. And then the military lawyers would be working on cases for, say, Hillary and Adam Schiff. But I do want to point out, just like I pointed out a moment ago, we went looking for a needle in a haystack instead of what was obvious, kicking out the observers, which is all you need to declare it a null and void election in Detroit. The exact same thing is happening with these arrests because this is RICO. Maxine Waters, Jeffrey Epstein, AOC, the head of Pfizer, the head of any DEI company you want to put out there, Pfizer, every people in other countries, other governments, are all part of a giant RICO racketeering crime. They're all conspiring together to overthrow a government. So instead of chasing down, say, a Jamie Raskin and getting him on separate charges, we could literally get like 700 judges, 500 politicians, including some mayors, all in one big arrest under the umbrella of George Soros. But will we be smart enough to do it? History tells me no, because I have dozens of other examples that are exactly like the one that I gave you for the TCF Center in Detroit. So yes, there will be arrests made. Are they going to do it one case at a time like dum-dums, or are they going to be doing one big giant racketeering arrest? And it's really, racketeering isn't even the right word for the crime, because the intent of the racketeering is to overthrow a government, which is an act of war, which puts them into military courts, which means Adam Schiff is going to be tried and hung, if that's what the court decides, in just a few hours. And by the way, after I just said that word, which YouTube doesn't like, I want to let you know that I've been on lockdown for the last week for putting up a video of the guy that just got busted with cocaine last night, the French prime minister, and that Arabian lord guy were, said to be messing around. And then there was a video of them standing in the dark, and they declared that video to be AI. So I've been out of business for a week here. New York City foster children. Now what else is happening with these foster kids? Thad, I don't know if you're thinking what I'm thinking, and it's very important that you guys go back and watch my Branson, Missouri video. Probably all you guys did, but nobody else did, and I think it's a very important one. And I did make it 18 and over, because anything that has to do with kids, YouTube's up my backside, and we're in the ninth inning here, and I'm not, this is my last channel. If it goes out, I'm not trying to rebuild this. You know where to find me. So we are in the ninth inning, and we did have that video that would be important to watch, and there are a bunch of people over the age of 25, 30 who were in the foster system, in child protective services, and they're all saying, you guys raped us. You guys sold us, and you raped us. So these people, as adults, are coming forward and saying, you did this to me when I was a little boy or a little girl. So we got that going on, which is really nice. But the only way we're going to win this is to hurt them. None of us go to rallies, and that's the smartest thing. I always said to everyone, don't go to rallies. I told everybody not to go to January 6th. I made that real clear, and I hold to that. I would never go to a rally. Rallies are not the right place to be. If you're trying to protect your country and the rally, the rally is intended to be an opportunity to burn your town down, then you might want to show up and protect your town, but never go to a rally. We know that. How we spend our dollars are very, very important. And I am going to ask everybody to just be as conscious as you can about stuff. If there's places that you're going are bad, it's a pain in the ass to drive the extra 16 miles for some of you country folk, but think about it. Instead of going to Walmart, go to that other grocery store that's owned by a guy who actually lives in your town. Carol says Adam Schiff was in the Sacramento B back in the 90s and the Standard Hotel. Yep. Every time I think of Adam Schiff, I think of that little boy's face and his adult face. And there's going to be some people on that Epstein Island list that aren't guilty. So, guys, hold back with your pitchforks and stuff. We got to sort that out very delicately. And because you might find some people that you hold in extremely high regard might have been on that plane. So we got to take that very, very seriously. Let's see, what else did I miss here? Okay, there is one report and maybe two reports, unless somebody was getting the second report, 107, I'm just telling you who the author of this is, so you could take it with your own grain of salt. Says there might be a problem with the Golden Gate Bridge soon. And that's just about all I got. So now that I got 83 of you with me right now, I'm going to do something really important. Same goes for Diddy's baby oil. What happened? The main witness in the Diddy trial disappears. Oh, speaking of disappearing, the video I was trying to upload last week when I got locked out was about James O'Keefe. You should be watching him. I don't think that main witness against Jeffrey Epstein is dead. As a matter of fact, I'm very, very sure she's not dead. There's too much information that cannot be found on it. And at this point of the game, she would be most likely to be under protection right now. So I think she's untouchable right now, and I do think she's alive. And we might find that to be, it's just the exact time you have to pull certain people out to keep them safe because the bad guys know what's coming, And so I'm going to ask you to watch for that. Conveniently, the witness disappeared. Right, exactly. Same goes for Diddy. Okay, now I'm going to show you a 1 minute and 52-second video that is very important, that has to do very much with the people that have been feeding your loved ones, your zombified MK Ultra loved ones, which may even be your mom. It's definitely my mom. Evidence that was evidence about how the world works that has been suppressed and overruled, and you're made to be a fool if you believe it. Let's jump right in. This is very important. It's only 1 minute and 52 seconds, but once you accept this truth, you're going to feel a lot better understanding how much more important you are directly with God, how much you're not a speck, how much you're not one of a billion ants. Okay, it's the whole world is about to get much smaller, which means you are going to know that that's what happened to me, and it was the most free-lifting feeling. And I'm going to give you the most basic information. I never tell you guys stuff without bringing something to the table. Okay, I never bring you anything without bringing it to the table. I told you all everyone was going to be arrested, but I told you exactly why. Okay, in the event that the auto pen is reversed, all these arrests are going to happen. Absolutely, and they're going to happen before Christmas. Everything between 30 days from now and Christmas, because it's going to take 30 days to get the Supreme Court to rule on the auto pen. All right, let's jump in. I got to turn my volume off. Here is the North Star, and the stars moving around it the way they do every night since the beginning of time. Now, this counterclockwise motion is contradictory to a globe belief. If that was the case, they would move from east to west or from west to east each night. And you may be aware that Rockefeller was actually the guy who brought pharmaceuticals to medicine. And look how that turned out. Vaccination. He's also the guy who brought the globe to the classroom. Before he introduced the idea of a globe, we went by the flat earth model as they taught in the Bible. Now let's take a closer look. Now here's the moon, the same moon that we see every night. Let's take this moon and let's flip it. When we flip the moon and we impose a drawing of the Gleason map, it seems to mirror the Gleason map exactly. Maybe a reflection of the ground we're standing on. Gleason created this map in 1892, and he was no slouch. He actually found ways by testing your blood to figure out the aggressiveness of cancer. Remember, Rockefeller was a financial friend of the Nazi Party, along with the Bush family. Do you want to stay in the Rockefeller camp, or does the Gleason camp look more obviously true to you? The Earth is absolutely 100% flat, and if you think it's a globe, you're buying the same Kool-Aid as the Democrats. Okay, I know some of that might have been offensive to some people. I'd like to point out there are several versions of the Bible who are cutting verses out. Check your Bibles for Matthew 17. Also, Matthew 21 or 22, Jesus Christ explains that the Jews are no longer the chosen people because they have rejected him and are about to send him to the cross. Jesus said that his people were his followers that show the fruit, and that's you and I, if we are showing his fruit. So I don't have any international political opinions. I do share my opinions, but I give you the facts too. And I do let you know when it's my opinion. The flat earth is not my opinion. That's fact. It says it in the Bible. If you're a Christian, you believe that without question. And if you're on the fence about it, I just proved it. So the NIV removed Matthew 17, and there is a version of the Bible now that's owned by the Disney Corporation. They've also removed it. I do have a copy of the Ethiopian Bible, and I forget the name of the other Bible that's a little bit older that the Ethiopian Bible is based on. And if I was you guys, I'd stick with those. If you have bad eyes, they do have a version of the Ethiopian Bible for $20. You either buy the Old Testament or the New Testament. They're literally the size of a New York phone book from 1980. But the letters are nice and big and you can read it. And that is the second most pure version of the original text. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to wish you a happy Mother's Day. I want to wish you peace and love in your heart. And I'm going to thank you for coming here, and I'm going to read a little bit here. The Tyndale Bible is accurate before KJV messed it up. That's true. I know the KJV. I don't know about that Bible yet, though. I'm starting at the full moon coming over the Atlantic Ocean right now. Sweet. Now, here's the main point about the flat Earth. The North Star never moves. If you're in Australia or if you're in America, the North Star never moves. All night long, if you're spinning at 36,000 miles an hour, that thing would be moving, but it never moves. Now, it would make sense if we were exactly standing at the North Pole that the North Star wouldn't move, right? But we're not. We're not. And Australia's on the bottom. So how are they looking? How is Australia on the bottom of the earth looking at the North Star all night? They're not. The answer is they're not on the bottom of the earth. They're flat. They're just across the water from us. And then you have on the walls, you have, just like the Bible says, you have the South Pole, the Antarctic, the outlying wall of ice. And then you have a plane beyond your imagination, just like what they tell us about outer space. But it's not outer space, it's a plane. It's a plane farther than you can ever walk that God created. And on that plane live other more advanced people, or aliens, you might call them. Aliens are not coming from outer space. They're coming from east and west on continents that we never even imagined exist. That's what's working right here. But we are the chosen people, and they know it. We are the center of the entire flat earth. All the continents we haven't seen yet are beyond us, north, south, east, and west. We are the center. We are God's people. And they happen to work for Satan, who, if you haven't read the Bible, is actually who runs this place. Peace and love worldwide. Live your life before your life lives you. And Thad says, Steve, start researching and flat earth snow globe. Good point. Versions make more. Yeah, and I don't need, you know what? People's minds won't be changed today. Most people, some people, I don't know, but people. But there's no way they're going to end if they look into intel and political stuff as truly and honestly on their own. There's two types of people that are right on the far right. There's people who just suck up information, and then there are people who like hear stuff and then be like, oh, that's got a red flag on it. I need to look deeper. So if he's one of those look deeper guys, he's going to figure out real quick we're not on a globe. The globe was literally invented by what's his name that owns the NBC building? I've just been saying his name all night. Rockefeller, not Rothschild. It was Rockefeller. Rockefeller literally literally created the globe idea and put it into classrooms in the 30s. Literally. So if you want to go with Rockefeller on everything else, his track record, that's cool. But he's the guy who gave you that belief. I'm sticking with the Bible. I don't know. The sun is what keeps us warm. And actually, it doesn't move. Actually, there's a video you could find, Tracking the Sun, it's called. And somebody is outside their house tracking the sun. And it shows it actually doing the infinity sign over our head every day in the exact same pattern. It goes up in the same spot, comes down in the same spot, making this perfect infinity in the sky. I would recommend you watch that. Because he's showing you it's not doing an east to west. It's actually doing this infinity pattern. So that would be a good thing to watch. But at night, for 10 hours a night, those stars, I've watched them all night long. I've sat there and watched the Big Dipper go around my head counterclockwise. I'm sure you guys have done it too. Think about it. It's moving counterclockwise every night. It's not spinning. There's not another set of stars that Australia's seeing that we're not seeing. The other side of the globe they got the same stars we got. Everything we see in the sky, they see in Australia. They see it in China. They see it everywhere else on the globe. There's not like other stars on the other side of the globe because there is no globe. Every star is above our head and their head at the same time. The North Star is in the same spot there than it is for us. I mean, it's a few degrees off, but it's straight up. And all night it doesn't move. Everything moves around the North Star. That's not a globe. Sun and moon are local and run their circuits. Sun, not 93 million miles away. Right, true. It's about the same size as the moon, and it's not that far away. All right, peace and love worldwide. Live your life before your life lives you. Please visit the other channel if you're aware of it. Fall asleep to a playlist. Turn the volume down or put your extra device in the garage so you don't hear it. And I did that live stream that ran for 12 hours. That would be a good one to play. Or there's everything is in a playlist. Or enjoy and consume the content. Because when this channel goes down, that's all I'm going to be. That's where I'll be. And I don't talk about this stuff here, but I do try and lower your blood pressure, showing you cool places around America. Peace and love worldwide. Live your life before your life lives you. Let's play comment roulette, sliding back. And the last one goes to Gertrude. Springwater says, so much treason everywhere. And then Thad said, don't forget the children and the puppies and the fraud tested on them. True. And I think the President of the United States is making those dogs adoptable now. You can now adopt, or soon will be able to adopt, these dogs that were used in these labs. And Jeremy Butler says the flat earth theory is seriously flawed. Yes, we see the same stars, and yes, the light, and we're in the dark. Yep. And the whole globe idea came from one of the most evil men who destroyed and lied to us about everything. The cure for cancer is 99 cents. And he shoved radiation down our throat. Peace and love worldwide. Live your life before your life lives you, and keep on smiling. Yet Rockefeller gave us the globe. Getty gave us the Gavin Newsom. I can't stop here. Globe theory is a joke. Agreed. A sphere rotating on a tilt explains everything. Okay. Well, I like living on a flat earth. It works simplistically, and Octum's razor is never wrong. You can't use plumb bob on a globe. True.